Here's where Trump's cabinet nominees stand on Israel and Palestine.
I mean real war, not like TV war. Real war, stacking bodies.
Our president should be strongly advocating for Israel to do whatever they need to do.
If Israel wants to, at long last, abandon the myth of a two-state solution, Israel should go ahead and abandon a two-state solution.
In a matter of weeks, President-elect Donald Trump will be sworn into office. But as Israel's military assault shows no signs of slowing down, with over 45,000 Palestinians killed, where do his cabinet nominees stand? Donald Trump has nominated Pete Hegseth to be the next Secretary of Defense.
Because 1917 was a miracle, 1948 was a miracle, 1967 was a miracle, 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital, was a miracle, and there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
But Hegseth's nominations may face challenges due to allegations of sexual misconduct, alcohol abuse, and mismanagement at previous jobs.
I mean, how many wars were started under Donald Trump's watch? Not Ukraine, not this. I watched Palestinian, it weren't just terrorists, this is an army, go in and pull grandmas out and murder women and children. And what Israel's about to do is bring hell down on Hamas if they do it right. I mean real war, not like TV war. Real war, stacking bodies, dead people.
Elise Stefanik, who's been nominated to be the United Nations ambassador, also has a pro-Israel stance. She has criticised the UN, accusing it of deep-rooted anti-Semitic prejudice for its critiques of Israel's actions in Gaza.
As long as I serve the American people, I will defend George Washington's vision of religious pluralism and freedom. Today, this means crushing anti-Semitism at home and supplying the state of Israel with what it needs, when it needs it, without conditions to achieve total victory in the face of evil.
She has also called for defunding and banning UNRWA, accusing it of being infiltrated by Hamas. Kristi Noem, nominated as Secretary of Homeland Security, has consistently voiced support for Israel, describing it as one of the nation's closest allies.
Our president should be strongly advocating for Israel to do whatever they need to do to wipe out not just Hamas, but if Hezbollah takes a step, if they move an inch, that they deserve to be destroyed as well.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services, opposes ceasefire efforts because he thinks this would embolden Hamas to continue taking hostages and gaining advantages.
And so how do you negotiate? This is not a territorial war that we're used to in the West. It literally is a religious war. Hamas would not agree to the existence of a Jewish state of any size, even the size of a postage stamp.
Secretary of the Interior nominee, Doug Burgum, heavily criticizes the Biden administration, accusing them of appeasing Iran and pressuring Israel.
Well, I think there's a real danger in America when either our education system or social media is producing somehow an idea that a terrorist organization is the one that we should be aligning ourselves with versus the only democracy in the Middle East, the country that has been a steadfast ally of ours and vice versa. And again, Hamas isn't really anything other than a terrorist organization funded by Iran. So if you're cheering for Hamas, you're cheering for Iran, and Iran's entire regime is built around one thing: destroying America, literally death to America. That's what they exist for.
Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency nominee, Lee Zeldin, has supported numerous pro-Israel initiatives, including legislation to sanction the International Criminal Court.
Israel has the existential threat. They have to crush Hamas. They need to eliminate this threat. And there are hostages right now. The idea that Israel is just going to unilaterally disarm and decide that they will sign up for a ceasefire while Hamas has pledged that they will not rest beyond their last breath in eliminating Israel off of the map. Israel has no choice. And what is so outrageous and infuriating and sad is that we are supposed to be a great, reliable, strong ally that values this bond, rather than actually leading an effort right now globally to turn countries all across this globe against Israel.
He spoke highly of the Abraham Accords and even nominated Jared Kushner and Avi Berkowitz for a Nobel Prize for their work on the agreement. Nominee National Security Advisor Mike Waltz advocates for maximum pressure on Iran and its proxies, viewing them as major threats to Israel and regional stability.
The
best thing Biden could do for Israel is cut off Iran's cash. We have a bill that has passed the House called the SHIP Act that would put secondary sanctions on Chinese buyers, brokers, refiners, shipping companies that are ultimately funding all of this in the Middle East. Iran is flush with cash because Biden walked away from maximum pressure.
He is also skeptical of ceasefires, arguing it would not end hostilities and that Iran would continue to destabilize the region. Trump has nominated John Ratcliffe to be director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Ratcliffe accused the Biden administration of diverting critical US intelligence assets from monitoring terrorist groups like Hamas.
Well, I have talked with folks within the intel community presently that have indicated that unfortunately the Biden administration may have redirected or retasked some intelligence assets away from the Middle East to Ukraine. And I don't know whether that is the case, but I do know this. Laura, we both want the United States to be the ally that Israel needs right now. The Israelis people have suffered the worst atrocity since the Holocaust. And so, the role that the U.S. should be playing, Laura, is that our best intelligence enterprise, our human intelligence, our signals intelligence, our geospatial intelligence should be working hand in glove with the Israelis.
One controversial nomination is Elon Musk as one of the Department of Government Efficiency heads. Although Musk has expressed solidarity with Israel's right to defend itself, he's faced accusations of promoting anti-Semitism on his platform X. In November 2023, Musk visited Israel, meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu following the backlash on social media. After this visit, Musk reached an agreement with Israel regarding his Starlink satellite internet service, ensuring it could only be used in Gaza with Israeli government approval. And the second nominee for the Department of Government Efficiency heads is Vivek Ramaswamy. He wants to adopt an America First strategy. He believes that Israel should have independence in its defense strategies, with the US serving as a diplomatic shield rather than a financial supporter.
Israel has an absolute and unequivocal right and responsibility to defend itself to the fullest, applying the only language that its adversaries understand, the language of force. If Israel wants to at long last abandon the myth of a two-state solution, Israel should go ahead and abandon a two-state solution. The rest of the Arab world can absorb Palestinians,
just as the Jews absorbed their people out of 22 countries they were kicked out of since 1948. The Islamic world cannot continue to condone the slaughtering of Jews while continuing to disown the Palestinians. That is the hard truth.